honestly, this is some of the biggest news you've ever seen. Cancel culture. Cancel culture. Let me say it again one more time for the SEO. Cancel culture. That's right, folks. What is going on in this country, and honestly, on the whole globe, on the whole planet, is ridiculous. The woke radical left is once again canceling great people. First, they canceled who's they? Don't know. But they did it. They canceled J.K. Rowling. She made Harry Potter. How are you going to cancel J.K. Rowling? And now the woke mob has gone too far. The woke mob, folks, you know what they've done. You've seen it. I've seen it. They canceled Vladimir Putin and they canceled Russia. The woke mob has canceled Russia. Let's watch.
It began yesterday. We know this very well. In Hollywood, they avoided films even when they made films where
the translator is seemingly confused here.
Only winner, the country that defeated fascism was the United States, and didn't say anything about the Red Army. But if you look at the number of military units fighting in the East, that was the Russian units.
So okay, that's true. That's true. Without the the Red Army, World War II might have not been so good. So obviously, the Red Army was canceled. The woke mob in Hollywood, honestly, the liberal, woke, radical left, the woke radicals that are woke, they woke up. They've been woke for a long time. Right? They've been woke for a long time. They canceled Russia from way back. They've been canceling Russia for a long time. So anyway, let's keep going.
So they just canceled the contribution of the Red Army into the defeat over the Nazis. And in Japan, they don't even mention who dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, or they just say it was done by some abstract allies. And the fact that it was the United States who did such an awful slaughter at the end of the war, this fact is not even mentioned.
So, hey, not bad on the points from Vladimir. So again, what we really need to understand here, real quick, gonna get some real analysis. Now, by the way, in the United States, everyone knows the U.S. dropped the bombs. I don't know what he's talking about here, but the bomb being dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, not good, not good. We know this now. It was covered up in the contemporaneous news, but we know this now that Japan was basically ready to surrender. I mean, they had really no outlets of continuing the war before the first atomic bomb, and so the U.S. just kind of did it because they wanted to show the whole world, yo, we got nukes, bro. Just saying, we got nukes. U.S., you heard it here first. We got nukes. Check that out. Just destroyed a whole city, massacred hundreds of thousands of civilians, and guess what? You want to see me do it again? Boom. Right? So I think everyone knows that the USA is the one who dropped nukes. And again, horrible, disgusting, evil. One of the worst things probably in human history, and America's responsible. But this is the whataboutism tactic, right? Vladimir Putin is, again, right now, as we speak, launching an illegal offensive invasion of a sovereign country, murdering children, murdering civilians, murdering people in maternity hospitals, just hospitals in general, bombing schools, bombing places of worship, bombing people's workplaces, bombing grocery stores, right? They are, again, committing a genocide of their own. So this is the classic whataboutism technique where, oh, yeah, I'm doing something bad, but, didn't you know the U.S. is also bad? So, shouldn't I be allowed to get... Well, I mean, the U.S. dropped some bombs like 100 years ago, man, and they, invaded Iraq and, Afghanistan and all that. So that means I should be able to take Ukraine. It's only fair, right? It's only fair, right? And this is why, again, for the same reason that I condemn the U.S. dropping nukes in World War II, and the same reason I condemn the U.S. invasion of Iraq and other illegal wars, especially like Vietnam, is the same reason I would condemn Vladimir Putin's offensive invasion of Ukraine. But again, we're only a minute into this clip here, and there's a little bit, but just...
So they just cancelled cynically this truth. They cancelled Joan Rowling recently, the children's author. Her books are published all over the
The
world.
fucking translator is like you can tell the translator is like struggling to take this seriously, man. They canceled. First of all, again, who is they? Like, they is like different people every time. First, they is Hollywood. Then they is like NATO. Then they is just like the West. Now they is like, I don't like what even. Who is they? I don't know. But let's continue.
Even just because she didn't satisfy the demands of gender rights, they're not trying to cancel our country. I'm talking about the progressive discrimination of everything to do with Russia, this trend that's unfolding in a number of Western states with the full neglect, sometimes encouragement of Western cultures. They're now engaging in cancel culture. They're even removing Tchaikovsky, Shostakovich, Rachmaninoff from posters. Russian writers and their books are cancelled. There's now...
So, now again, mixing in, like, this is the problem with cancel culture, is like he's mixing in a lot of stuff. Like, first of all, they canceled Russia like 80 years ago. They canceled Japan. They, again, who knows who they is, they canceled history. They canceled J.K. Rowling. They canceled Russia. They canceled Russian writers. Now, again, I want to be very clear. The idea that, like, you would cancel someone from a speaking gig who is native Russian, or, like, just, like, maybe they're American citizens that were born in America, but their parents are Russian, so they've got, like, they're Russian, like, culturally, or, you know, the idea that you would attack those people is ridiculous. Let's be honest. It's ridiculous. Now, again, if someone's pro-war and they're like, yeah, Putin's a great guy, cancel him. Fuck him. Fuck him. But just because they're Russian, that's stupid. Attacking people that are just like, Russian immigrants who just have businesses in the United States or any other country, like in France, that was happening. It's just dumb. It's dumb. It's like freedom fries bullshit. Remember freedom fries? Like, oh, France is canceled because... they didn't help us wage an illegal offensive invasion of a sovereign country. So now we're not calling them French fries anymore. Now they're freedom fries. It's the same thing. Americans are stupid. People are stupid, okay? People are tribalistic and they're dumb. So, no, Russian writers should not be canceled. But also, again, pro-war people, if someone is just a Russian writer, let him go. If someone is pro-war and they're writing about how Putin's a great guy and he's going to make Russia great again, yeah, fuck them. Throw them in the garbage. Who cares? Don't let them speak anywhere. Censor them. I don't give a shit, okay? That's my opinion. And now again, free speech, cool. I'm in favor of free speech. But if you're endorsing a genocide, maybe you shouldn't be thrown in jail, but maybe you shouldn't be paid to go to college campuses, given money to say you're stupid pro-war garbage. And the same way that people that were pro-Iraq war being on television shouldn't have been on television. If you want to be in favor of the Iraq war, go write a book about it, and if someone wants to go buy it, that's fine. They might have trouble buying it in certain stores because it might not be carried in places, but you should be allowed to publish anything you want. That's fine. But again, you shouldn't be given a platform above other people. That's my thing. So again, but let's continue. So what he's doing here is he's mixing a bunch of good criticism and things. But again, I need you to understand, right? This is all like blood and soil shit. Like, they've historically canceled our Russian people. The Red Army. Why is he bringing up the Red Army? Because he wants to make Russia great again. He wants to reunite the Soviet states, but not under like a communist kind of like thing like the Soviet Union, or let's pretend communist. Like they were just kind of like winging it. Like, if we just call ourselves communists, maybe people will believe us. I don't know. Let's just go like starve millions of Ukrainians. But now they think we're communists, bro. Like, imagine actually thinking the USSR was communist. Like, I mean, come on now. Let's be real. Anyone who thinks that is a fucking moron. But he's not trying to reunite, at least to pretend communist country. What he's trying to do is, again, he's trying to reunite the Russian Empire. I mean, keep in mind, Russia was an imperialist, like, monarch-run empire in the 20th century. Like, I need people to understand, this is not old news, right? Like it was like 105 years ago, 110 years ago, ish, that Russia was still solidly a monarchy. It was an empire, right? Like, this is not like, we're like, a lot of countries like got rid of their, maybe some of them still have the queens and the kings, but they're kind of just symbolic. A lot of countries did that. in the 19th century. And, Russia is a little bit late, so keep that in mind. But also, again, he's trying to reunite an empire. He's not doing anything he's not a communist, right? So if you're like a tanky dipshit and you're like, like you're dumb, go fuck yourself. I need people to understand this. This guy is like, again, disinformation master. This guy is, again, throwing a bunch of shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. That's the kind of tactic being used here. And it's all trying to downplay and erase the conversation that, again, there's currently going on an invasion of Ukraine. Civilians are being killed, held hostage, murdered. Children are being killed, held hostage, murdered. Hospitals are being targeted. Apartments are going to be being targeted, right? So this is, like, again, if Vladimir Putin didn't do what he's doing in Ukraine, right? Didn't annex Crimea and like was just kind of chilling and coasting and when Russia is decent, and then you would say all this speech just to destabilize the West or whatever, maybe I would say he has a point. But as of this moment, my God, man, if you think this guy's got a point and anything at all, you're falling for the bullshit. So anyway, let's continue.
The latest program to cancel world literature was conducted by the Nazis in Germany 90 years ago. We remember that footage when they were burning books.
What books were they burning? Now, again, I talk about this all the time. The Nazis spent a lot of their time, like when the Nazis had power, right? And they basically had infinite money from the coffers of the treasury of their country. What they would do is they would send people on scouting missions all across the world to destroy records of queer people, transgender people, gay people, cultures that they did not like Jewish culture. They went out of their way to destroy artifacts, history, books, and so on. Now, again, a lot of the book burnings were destroying medical records on transgender people, gay people, study, science, right? That kind of stuff. And now we're in a situation where people think trans people are new. Why does anyone think trans people are like a new thing? Why? Because they're Nazis, right? Or at least they worship what the Nazis did, right? The Nazis erased trans people from the history of a lot of cultures. And people are still walking around like that. Just, again, they are doing exactly what the Nazis wanted. The Nazis went around the world to destroy queer history. Why? Because, again, they wanted to cancel transgender people. So, again, Vladimir Putin is also someone who hates transgender people. He said that trans people are like a crisis against humanity, like a crime against humanity. Again, gay rights, trans rights in Russia, basically non-existent. And so Russia is a highly oppressive, highly anti-LGBTQ country. So the idea that he's going to cite the Nazis were burning books. What? Like, you're on the side of the Nazis, bro. You are doing the same thing. You're canceling Facebook in your country. You're canceling people from Russia today because they don't like the war. You're canceling protesters in cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg by the thousands because they don't want the war. So if this guy was really concerned about cancel culture, again, he's not. This is all just like a fucking disinformation campaign. He's crying and screaming. So, again,
it's impossible to imagine such a thing in our country, and we're insured against this thanks to our culture, and it's inseparable for us from our motherland, from Russia, where there is no place for ethnic intolerance, where for centuries representatives from dozens of ethnic groups have been living together, and cultural diversity is the pride of our society.
So, just real quick, by the way, if you look at the reports of Russian military casualties, you will see that non-Russian, ethnically non-Russian people in the military, by the way, that are being enslaved, they're being conscripted, which is slavery. They are being stolen from their families by the state and then sent to go enact a genocide for them. But you'll see that on the front lines, a lot of the casualties are disproportionately non-ethnically Russian people, people of color, people that are non-Christians, right? Why is that? Because they're viewed as more expendable. They're being used as cannon fodder. They're being used to be thrown out there to be shot to bits by the Ukrainian armies just to buy time, just to So again, the idea that Russia is some innocent, oh, we did nothing wrong. Again, I need people to understand this guy is full of shit, but also it's hilarious. In a way, in a twisted, dark humor sort of way, Vladimir Putin's talking about J.K. Rowling. Like, I mean, my God. Like, this is the world's theory, right? Like, what is going on here? Right? Like, what is, like, seriously, this is crazy stuff. And again, I need people to understand is also, TERFs are fascists. TERFs are Nazis. They are modern day Nazis. Now, again, there are Nazis that hate Jewish people, right? The old school Nazis, right? They want to murder all the Jewish people because they're crazy, right? There are Nazis that will spend their time murdering and discriminating against black people, for example. They're still Nazis. They're still genocidal fascist freaks. It's just that the group that they specifically want to target and eradicate are black people. There's groups, again, Nazis, that spend all of their time advocating for a genocide of gay people. Right? Those are still Nazis. It's the same ideology. It's just a different group of people. There are Nazis, fascists, that want to spend all of their time eradicating a group like transgender people. People call them TERFs. I call them Nazis. There is no difference between someone that wants to genocide all Jewish people and someone that wants to genocide all transgender people, or someone that wants to genocide all Muslim people, or someone that wants to genocide all Christian people, or whatever. I don't give a fuck what group you want to genocide. If you want to commit a genocide against any group, you are a Nazi. Full stop. I don't care what your excuses are. I don't care what your pretend is. J.K. Rowling is a Nazi. And I think it's horrifying. The idea that Nazism is allowed in public television, that's horrifying. The idea that Nazism is allowed in children's bookstores is horrifying. Why are Nazis allowed to write children's books and then people buy them? Again, by the way, people might think, oh, classical Nazis hate Jewish people. Have you ever looked at the references in Harry Potter when it comes to the bankers, by the way? Anyone want to talk about that? Anyone that thinks that J.K. Rowling is anything but a fascist, anything but a modern-day neo-Nazi, is fooling themselves. Now, again, is there a rhetorical difference, a nuanced difference in rhetoric between people that want to murder black people and people that want to murder trans people? Yes. And we need to examine those nuances to better fight these things. But at the same time, we need to understand that these are Nazis. The ideology is the same. This is a global, ideologically fascist-aligned movement, and people like J.K. Rowling are on the side of the Nazis. They will choose the Nazis before they will choose anyone else because they are crazy. They are fucking crazy, okay? They are Looney Tunes. They are crazy motherfuckers. Vladimir Putin is a Nazi. Vladimir Putin is, again, people like, no, how dare you call him Hitler? Hitler's so bad. The idea that we can't call people Hitler because Hitler was like a unique, terrible person, I think is silly. I think we need to really learn from our history. Again, this guy is launching an invasion on another country because, oh, there's ethnic Russians there. We're going to liberate the ethnic Russians. Again, this is blood and soil, classic Nazi stuff. I don't know what to tell you, okay? So again, J.K. Rowling, a Nazi. Vladimir Putin, a Nazi. This is the Nazi axis. This is the modern day axis of evil. And we need to understand this is, again, yes, there are rhetorical differences between people that want to genocide against black people, people that want to genocide against gay people, Jewish people, or trans people, but they all want to commit a genocide against a group that they don't like that happens to be a minority group, and that's not good. And so, I don't know. Personally, I'm on the side of anti-genocide. That's my side. Call me crazy. Call me a radical. I'm against genocide. I think it's bad, actually. So, I don't know, man. But also, that's crazy. Vladimir Putin's talking about J.K. Rowling. That's crazy. I don't know. That's just crazy shit right there. I don't know what to tell you.